Good evening, welcome to the Professor Maima Show. Hope you are doing well wherever watching me from around the world. Please subscribe, share and like this video. So, of late, Kenya has been going through a lot of difficulties with the high inflation rate, the high unemployment rate among the youth, the high taxation for the working class, the people who pay taxes, a lot of police brutality, police extrajudicial killing, and then also the big elephant in the room, that is it's called what? The abductions of young men, mostly the Gen Zs, because of the demonstrations that took place last year because of the finance bill, isn't it? So that's why we're talking about. My conversations with President William Ruto. Yes, my conversations with President William Ruto. So my conversations with President William Ruto. So me, I was imagining, what would I have my conversation with President William Ruto? I'm imagining we're in the State House, in his, it's called his garden there in the State House. Is it the State House? Yes, in Nairobi State House. It's called what? In the garden there. A small coffee table is there. Both of us are sipping. Him is taking his tea. His tea that is, what do they say? He's taking his tea with bitter herbs. Me, I'm taking my milk tea. Isn't it? So we're sitting down. Me, I'm dressed officially. I'm in my suit, because I'm going to talk to the President of Kenya. And then on the other side, the President is also dressed well, formally, maybe in his, it's called what? In his shirt, flowered shirt and all that. So me, I asked, straight off, I just asked him, Mr. President, do you think the people around you, the so-called Harvard professors, all those people who give you good advice, or your local, you call them, in the mafia movies, we talk of the Mr. Fix-It. I'll ask him, do you think your advisors and your Mr. Fix and your Mr. Fix-It are doing a good job? That will be the first question to the President Ruto. I'm sure he'll tell me his people are trying to give him good advice to improve the Kenyan economy and other short stories. Then I'll add him, if they're giving you good advice, why is it that the economy is about to collapse, unemployment rate is high, and inflation is high? Then I'm sure the President will say this is something that's going on all over the world. Countries are facing economic hardships because of the war in Ukraine and Israel, isn't it? But me, I'll tell him, the Kenyan problem is unique because your people around you are corrupt, they're incompetent, Mr. President. Then I'm sure he'll say, these are people who are seasoned politicians and they know what they do, isn't it? Me, I'll tell him, the biggest problem you have, Mr. President, is that either you don't listen to advice or you advise yourself. That's the biggest problem. And then he'll say, okay, he has been in this game for over 30 years, from these days of Youth for Kano 92, when he was the assistant to Jirongo, isn't it? Then I'll tell him, Kenya at independence, we were benchmarking with South Korea, with Sri Lanka. Is it even, South Korea, Indonesia? Yes, South Korea, Indonesia, Thailand. Those are the countries who are backbenching with. And even there's a rumor that we once gave a small loan to South Korea. But now who are we benchmarking with? We're benchmarking with failed states, countries that cannot even feed their people. So that's what I'll tell the President. And then I'm sure he'll tell me, oh, to Metenga, we have set aside money for this. I'll tell him, the other big problem is that lack of, it's called corruption in the judiciary. Another thing, senior government people not obeying court orders, like there I saw in the news, top government officials refusing to follow court orders, isn't it? So then I'll tell him the only way Kenya can improve is, first of all, if the president of Kenya is honest with his people, telling him that we are in a dilemma, we can't pay our debts, we are going to default, so we need to tighten our belts, which means the government must spend less and save more, isn't it? And then I'll also tell him he needs to change his advisors, because his advisors are misleading him. The country may collapse. That's my conversation with President Ruto. I'll also tell him our agriculture is also going to collapse. I'll also tell him the abduction of these young Gen Zs doesn't help anything. It just shows that you are leading in crisis mode. Do you know crisis mode? Have you ever lived in crisis mode, whereby even you cannot pay your rent? You have all these people, your lenders are following you. You switch off all your phones. You cannot even buy food. You have to beg. You cannot even wear new clothes. That is crisis mode. That's what's happening in Kenya. But the only problem is that the people at the top, the president and his cohorts, are living large. They are having thousands of acres. They are even flaunting their money, isn't it? So my conversation with President William Ruto will just be straightforward. I'll tell him he has to change his advisors. He needs to stop corruption. He needs to reform the judiciary, kick out corruption in the judiciary, the police force. He needs to reform the education sector, change CBC. I don't know, it's called this education system. It's called the passworded system. Change it to the system that is practical. It can be 844, I don't know, but it has to be a practical education system that offers our learners knowledge and skills for the 21st century. Not this copy and paste of America, and you don't have anything, you don't even have laboratories. Another thing, stop the police abductions of young Gen Zs, doesn't help. And then also convert Kenya into one big shamba so that you can do value addition, industrialization, and so on and so on. That's my conversation with President Ruto, who, the way it is he may make history as the first president to only serve one term, because these are self-inflicted wounds. The higher education was doing very well before you came up with this confused model, Mr. President. Go back to the former model and set up a task force, serious task force with people like Professor Maimain and other, it's called what, stakeholders in the education sector, so that you can come with the education sector that first of all is free from nursery to university. 2, an education system that gives knowledge and skills for the 21st century. An education system that makes the universities earn money, not spend money. Universities that do research to earn money, not spend taxpayers' money. That's the education system we want. Education system of innovators, job creators, not an education system of job seekers and what do we call, and poverty. Poverty, people who are just poor. Our education system in Kenya is producing poverty, job seekers. That's the problem. We need to be creating people who are job creators and people who create wealth and riches, and people who are confident and patriotic. That's my conversation with President Ruto. Also, the police force has many good people, but they're not given a chance to do their job. Reform it. Give our police good salaries, good benefits, good whatever, medical care, insurance, you name it, so that they do their jobs and they have all the equipment, I don't know, guns, cars, you name it. And then also a medical sector needs its reforms. This shisha thing has to go. Let medical care in Kenya be free, where you just go to a public hospital, you are treated, you get your medicine, and you go away. And our doctors, nurses should be paid well. We don't need to be sending our doctors outside and nurses, and we spend a lot of money educating them. So that's what my conversation with President William Samoei Ruto, the 5th president of Kenya. So this is the Professor Maima Show. I want to pray for you who's watching me, that you have a long life, that your dreams become reality and become rich and prosperous, not only you, your children, grandchildren, and all generation. Pray for myself to be rich and prosperous. I also pray for peace, prosperity, and peace in this Kenya, and wisdom for our leaders. Those are my prayers. Amen. And if you have liked what I've said, I just want to say, Gwaheri ya kuonana, Gwaheri.